I'm Steve Dangle, and you're listening to Stick to the Pod.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Stick to the Pod. Yes, I know what you're all saying. Where have you been, mister? You missed a week last week. Yes, unfortunately, the man flu has struck in this household. I have been down, still not really fully over it, but managed to be able to do some chatting and catch up of what's been going on. And what has been going on? Well, we have a playoff matchup. We have a league champion in Division 2 and in Division 1. We've had a North East derby. So with that being said, let's get straight into it. We're going to cover Division 2 first. We'll cover both weeks. Then we'll head on over into Division 1. And we're going to get straight into it now. It's episode 44. And we're going to go straight over to the D-side Ducks versus the Billingham Buccaneers way back on Saturday the 1st of March. So on Saturday the 1st of March, the D-side Ducks did host the Billingham Buccaneers. They actually outshoot the Billingham Buccaneers 40-35, but it is those Bucks who take a 3-1 victory. On the score sheet for the Buccaneers, it's Nertney, Down and Wallace and Thompson for D-side. Moving on then for the final game of the Saturday the 1st of March, and it's the Coventry Blaze hosting the NIHL Tigers 2, and it's a close fought affair with the Tigers outshooting the Coventry Blaze 41-35, and they take the game 4-3. The Blaze did take the lead in this game in the first period, but a 2-goal second period from the Tigers give them a 2-1 lead going into the third, and 2 goals apiece, giving the scoreline 4-3 to Telford. On the score sheet for the Blaze then, it's Kent and then Mellett with 2, and for Telford, it's Luca with 2, Mitchell, and the ever impressive Stanton. Moving into Sunday then, and probably a bit of a shock result, and a result that would edge the Telford Tigers that ever bit nearer to defending their league title. The Billingham Buccaneers beat the Sutton Sting 5-4, taking a 3-1 lead in the first period. After the second, it's 4-3, and a 1-1 third period does give the Buccaneers the victory at 5-4. The Sting outshoot the Buccaneers by 3 at 44-41, and it'll be the Sting who are going to rue those missed chances on the power play, going 0-6. On the score sheet is Fraser scoring his first hat-trick in Billingham Buccaneers colours. Josh Nertney also on the score sheet, with Jono Galloway also getting the game-winning goal in only his third game back. For the Sutton Sting, it's Akers and Meadows and Glasby with 2. Moving on to the next game, the Telford Tigers host the Kingston Sharks. It's a shutout victory for the Telford Tigers, who outshoot the Kingston Sharks 48-22. However, they also take an absolute stack of penalty minutes to Tigers 2, taking 38 minutes on the night. Goal scorers for the Tigers is Davies and Smith with 2, and also the shutout for Telford. Final game of the weekend then, and it's the Altrincham Aces and the Sheffield Titans. A goalless first period, a tied second period at 2s each, and then it's the Sheffield Titans who get the away victory, taking the third period 2-1 to give them a 4-3 victory on the night, also outshooting their host 37-34. Got Price and Mills for the Aces, and it's Roebuck, Swaffield, Matthewman and Fulbourn for the Titans. Moving on then to last weekend's games. Saturday the 8th of March, and it's going to be a big day for the Telford Tigers 2, who travel to D-side. Could they get the business done? Could they get that win and defend their Division 2 ladler title? And they get it done with an onslaught in the second period and taking the third period 2-1. In the end, it was a 7-2 victory after a 0-0 first period. They do outshoot the Ducks 7-2, 52-32, sorry, in that 7-2 victory. It's Jay Jones and cutting for the Ducks. It's Mitchell, Washburn, Harrison, Davies, Lauder, and of course, Vladimir Luka with 2. The Kingston Sharks bring us somewhat of a bit of a surprise. They beat the travelling Coventry Blaze. They beat them 5-4 after being outshot 44-41. The Coventry Blaze were actually 4 goals to 2 up in this one after the first, but it's a 3-goal second period for the Sharks that gives them the victory. Clegg, Barker, Howells with 2, and Rogers for the Sharks, and it's Mellard, Prosser, Kent and Sumner for the Blaze. Final game on the Saturday then, the Saturday the 8th of March, and it's the Buccaneers and the Sheffield Titans, and it's a comfortable night's work for the Buccaneers, who faced a very, very short bench Sheffield Titans. A 0-0 first period, however, the Buccaneers get their scoring shoes going, taking the second period 2-1 and the third period 2-0 to give them a 4-1 lead, outshooting their opponents 50-32. Wallace with 2 and Dowd with 2 for the Bucks, and it's Janssens for the Titans. Moving into Sunday then, and it's a few teams starting to play their last games, as it was for the Billingham Buccaneers. They took an 8-1 victory over the Bradford Bulldogs, outshooting the Bulldogs 49-34. A 4-goal first period pretty much put the game to bed. Ones apiece in the second, and then a 3-goal period in the third. It was Furling on the score sheet for the Bulldogs, and it was Dowd with a hat-trick, Wallace, Hall, Black, Wakefield and McLaughlin all on the sheet for the Buccaneers. And a bit of a weekend to forget for the Coventry Blaze. They hosted the Lions 2 and they lose out 3-2 after outshooting their visitors 51-32. It's Harrison Stokes on the score sheet for Blaze, and it's Ross Thorne, Poole and Mick Garvey on the score sheet for the Lions too. So not quite a final league table just yet, but we do have a couple of teams who have completed their season. Starting at the top, and it's champions again, Telford Tigers 2 with 26 games played, 25 games won, and that 1 loss for their 75 points. The Sutton Sting only played 24 games. They will finish this weekend. 22 wins, 2 losses, 1 to the Tigers, 1 to the Buccaneers for their 66 points. The Buccaneers improved on last season, taking 3rd place for their 26 games, 19 wins and 7 losses for 57 points. 4th place is the Coventry Blaze, 25 games, 14 wins, 1 overtime win, an overtime loss, 9 losses for 45 points. The Altrincham Maces, 25 games, 12 wins, 1 overtime loss, 12 losses for 38 points. Kingston Sharks are next in 25 games played, 8 points, 8 wins, 1 overtime win, 3 overtime losses and 13 losses for 29 points. 7th is Nottingham Lions 2 with 24 games played, 4 wins, 2 overtime wins, 18 losses and 16 points. 8th and the final playoff spot is the Sheffield Titans, 23 games played, 5 wins, 1 overtime loss, 17 losses and 16 points. The Bradford Bulldogs had 24 games played, same record of 5 wins, 1 overtime loss, 18 losses, having played the game more, and 16 points on the scorecard. So from 9, 8 and 7 are all on 16 games each. It's the Titans who have 3 games left, and the Lions and Bulldogs both have 2 games left. So the fixtures will be very, very interesting. And last and very not least, and still quite not out of it mathematically, it's the Deeside Ducks who played 24 games, 3 wins, an overtime win, 20 losses and 11 points on the scoreboard. So moving into this weekend's fixtures then. It is the weekend of the 15th and 16th, and it's just the 4 games to be played this weekend. The Sheffield Titans host the Nottingham Lions at 4:40 on Saturday. At 7:20, it's the Sutton Sting versus the Deeside Ducks. That'll probably be straight after the Sheffield Titans game. The Bradford Bulldogs host the Sutton Sting on Sunday the 16th. Altrincham Aces play the Coventry Blaze at 5:45 on Sunday. So what we'll do now is we'll jump over to NIHL updates, and a big thank you to Harvey for the work he puts in on NIHL North updates. Obviously, all the information I have just read for you there is a big thanks to Joe Scuts and NIHL Stats. He does great work there. Get to the website, have a look, see what he's doing on there, because he does great stuff. He does all the updates for all the teams as well, so you know who's scoring and where. But we are going to jump over to NIHL North updates for this one and just see who the scoring leaders are in the Laidler division. So leading the way for goals is young Taylor Stanton at the Telford Tigers. He's had a 30-goal season. I will only give you the information that has been provided by NIHL North updates, which is the top fives. In second is Morgan Glasby of the Sutton Sting with 27 goals. Tom Humphreys of the Kingston Sharks, 27 goals. Fourth place is Ollie Hunt of the Telford Tigers at 24 goals. And Philip Super, after only signing for the Tigers towards the end of January, I think it was, is in fifth place with 22 goals. Assist leader again is young Taylor Stanton from the Telford Tigers with 33 assists. It's Ollie Hunt in second for the Telford Tigers of 32 assists. Conor McNaughton takes third of the Telford Tigers and 28 assists. In fourth, it's Morgan Glasby of the Sutton Sting, 26 assists. And in fifth place is brother Lawson Glasby of the Sutton Sting on 25 assists. So points leaders then, and it's Taylor Stanton, the Telford Tigers, 63 points. Ollie Hunt, the Telford Tigers, 56 points. Morgan Glasby, Sutton Sting, 53 points. Tom Humphreys, Kingston Sharks, 49 points. Ryan Apsley, Sutton Sting, 41 points. Penalty leaders, always an interesting one. It's Conor Mellor of the Coventry Blaze with 79 minutes. Cameron Akers of the Sutton Sting with 72 minutes. Ronnie Grimes of Altrincham Aces with 70 minutes. Alfie Kelly of the Altrincham Aces, 64 minutes. And Liam Bartholomew of the Telford Tigers, 61 minutes. We'll move into the netminders and the savers percentage leaders, which is Ron Pearce of the Billingham Buccaneers with a 0.935%. In second is the outstanding Lewis King of the Sutton Sting at 929%. Matthew Byrne of the Telford Tigers, also 929%. Hayden Laverick, brother of the friend of ours of the Solihull Barons, is Coventry Blaze, is Hayden Laverick, 0.925%. And then Chris Southwaite, who's done an unreal job for the Billingham Buccaneers this year, in fifth place with 0.924%. Goals against leaders is going to go to Lewis King of the Sutton Sting at 1.66. Ron Pearce of the Billingham Buccaneers at 1.83. Hal Griffiths of the Telford Tigers, 1.94. Matthew Byrne of the Telford Tigers at 2.01. And Hayden Laverick at 2.22%. Save leaders then goes to Joe Nolan of the Nottingham Lions with 672 saves. Chris Southwaite in second of the Buccaneers at 652 saves. Hayden Laverick of the Coventry Blaze, 617 saves. Jake Lowndes of Bradford Bulldogs at 580 saves. And Nathaniel Bell of the Sheffield Titans at 543 saves. The last one is time on ice. Not really a big stat for me, so I will leave that one out. That is more of a personal preference. So if you don't like it, it is a bit of a tough. So now we are going to move into NIHL North 1. So we will go back a couple of weekends to the 1st of March. And we're going to be starting with Saturday's early game in Nottingham. And it's the Nottingham Lions the Nottingham Lions 9, the Whitley Warriors 2. The Lions hammering a very short bench Whitley Warriors and heavily outshooting them 42-25. Alex Rushby having a night on the score sheet, scoring his 25th goal of the season. Addis Padalek getting himself on the score sheet as well, scoring his 33rd goal of the season. It was actually a 4-point night for Addis Padalek, 2 goals, 2 assists. and a 5-point night for Alex Rushby, picking up 3 for 2 for his 5 points. Moving on then, after the cup final, it was the Blackburn Hawks getting back to winning ways with an impressive 9-4 victory over the Solihull Barons. And it's Jacob Luckwhite scoring his 37th goal of the season. Nicholas Otterson getting his 34th goal of the season. Adam Barnes scoring his 37th goal of the season. So a lot going on there in that game. A lot of players with very impressive stats. I tell you what, I will go through the goal scorers as well. I thought it would take some while, but it'll be okay. So James Roddick giving the Blackburn Hawks a 1-0 lead. It's then Matt Maurice for the Solihull Barons to make it 1-0. Then it's Andy McKinney, Darren Sporforth who make it 3-1. Sean O'Neill pulls one back to make it 3-2. And then Liam Charnock and Peter Valusiak score another 2 to make it 5-2 to the Blackburn Hawks. Alex White pulls another one back to make it 5-3 going into the third period. And then James Lloyd and Jacob Luckwhite make it 7-3. Nicholas Otterson pulling another one back for the Barons, making it 7-4. And then Andy McKinney and Adam Barnes topping off the night with goals 8 and 9. The Hawks outshoot the visitors 52-31. And also not a lot of penalties in the game, just the 4 penalties for the Hawks and 2 for the Barons. Graham Laverick conceded 9 on 52 and Ben Keddy 4 on 31. No outstanding stats really on the night. Dan Mulcahy get 4 points on the night with 4 assists. Nicholas Otterson 4 points on the night. 1 goal and 3 assists. So yeah, very top line heavy. The 2 main hitters involved with all 4 goals for the Barons. Andy McKinney has a 4-point night, 2 and 2. Lee Pollard has a 3-point night with 3 assists. Liam Charnock 3-point night with a goal and an assist. Moving on to Leeds, and a big question was over the Billingham Stars to whether they would have a cup hangover. And after going down 1-0 in 32 seconds, you thought, oh dear, just maybe. But no, Owen Dell put the Leeds Knights 1-0 up after 32 seconds with a great finish. And pretty much on from that moment, the Stars did dominate the period. They outshot the Leeds Knights 20-7 in that first period. And I think the teams went in 3-2 at the end of the first. As I said, Owen Dell getting on the score sheet early for Leeds, and Jake Wigginton also in that first period. For the Stars, it was James Moss, Michael Elder and James Helens. And then it was a second period blast. They outshoot the Knights again, 27-7 this time. And goals from Callum Wilkinson, Ian Brown, Chris Sykes and Roland Scrittens pretty much takes the game away from the Leeds Knights. And then in the third period, Ian Brown grabs his 58th of the season, and Roland Scrittens grabs his 27th of the season. The Stars ended up outshooting the Knights 63-16, and the Knights only having 2 shots in the final period. Doesn't look too great on Jacob Hammond conceding the 2 goals on 16 shots, but some important saves along the way. Luca Tasadri, great to see him back in the net still, concedes 9 on his 63. Moving on quickly, and the Deeside Dragons get an impressive 5-4 victory over the Hull Jets. And this is on Sunday the 2nd of March. The Hull travel to Deeside to be outshot 40-28. There was a lot of penalty minutes in this game, 67 in total, of which 47 go to the Deeside Dragons. Both power play units have a decent night. The Dragons 3 for 7 and the Jets 2 for 4. But Hayek, Parsons, Jessen, Porrier and Harper for the Dragons, Beach with 2, Daintith and Kerman for the Hull Jets. Widnes Wild get an important win, but probably a win that isn't going to be enough. They pick up 2 points from an overtime win against the Leeds Knights, winning the game 5-4 and outshooting the Knights 40-39. Alston, Hopkins, Hughes, Gilbert and Barlow for Widnes, Wigginton, Heinzel, Deneco and Dell for Leeds. Moving on to the Lions hosting the Blackburn Hawks. It's a 6-4 victory for the Hawks, who were outshot, according to the Lions' shot counters, 32-31. Padalecki, Smith, Crowston and Birchnell for the Lions. Lukewich with 4, Charnock and Royds. The big game of the weekend, though, was the game between the Whitley Warriors and the Billingham Stars. And it was a grinded out game at both ends. Nothing too flashy. There wasn't a whole lot of skill on show. Just couple of bits of individual brilliance. Not the best surface to play a good brand of hockey on. But the Billingham Stars do get the job done. They outshoot the Warriors 44-38, and it was the best I've seen of the Warriors from a long time, even from watching the highlights. It was just pure hard work and grit from the Warriors. They really messed up the Stars game plan, but it was fantastic to watch when they were pinging the puck around when they got the opportunity to do so. It was Queenan, Harley and Ord who were on the score sheet for the Stars, and Gritans, Brown and Spraggan with 2, I believe, on the score sheet for the Billingham Stars. Sorry, Queenan, Harley and Ord for the Warriors, and Gritans, Brown and Spraggan with 2 for the Stars. The Stars out shooting the Warriors 48-34. A few penalties in this game. Warriors being 1 for 7 on the power play, and the Stars 2 for 8. And put the Stars on their merry way to winning another league title. So then moving on to this current weekend that we've just had, if my computer decides to load it. There we go. Starting with Saturday the 8th of March, and it's Sheffield Scimitars hosted the Deeside Dragons, and it's the Dragons blowing the Skims away, outshooting them 55-31 for a 10-4 victory. Your 4 goal scorers for the Sheffield Scimitars, is Otley, Pelling, Brammer and Williams. And the Dragons goal scorers are Hayek, Kennedy, Ogden, Witkowski and Phillips, with Parsons getting 2 and Jessen with 3. The Widnes Wild get another impressive victory in their hunt for a playoff spot. The Widnes Wild hosted the Nottingham Lions, being outshot 50-30, however taking the 8-4 victory over the Nottingham Lions. It's Rushby with a hat-trick and a very impressive season from young Rushby, and Padalecki on the score sheet for the Nottingham Lions. Hathaway, Head and Alston on the score sheet for the Lions, with Barlow getting 2 and Hopkins getting his hat-trick. The big result of the weekend, on the Saturday, was the Hull Jets and the Blackburn Hawks, who ended up going to overtime. The Blackburn Hawks 2-1 up in this one at the end of the first. Jets scraped back in the second to make it 2-2 going into the third, and the Hawks and Jets could only muster a 4-4 scoreline at the end of regulation, meaning that the Hawks had dropped a point, meaning the Stars would need just one regulation win to claim back-to-back league titles. As it was the Hawks who go into overtime and take the win 5-4. They outshoot the Hull Jets 52-36, and it's McKinney with the overtime winner. Yeardley, Beach, Cohen, Taylor and Daintiff for the Hull Jets. It's Barnes and Lukewich with 2, and as I just said, Andrew McKinney with the overtime winner. Moving on into Sunday then, Sunday the 9th of March. Sunday the 9th of March, the Whitley Warriors hosting the Nottingham Lions, and the Warriors blow the Lions away in the first period and fly out to a 4-goal lead at the end of the first. However, the Nottingham Lions do push back a little bit, but it just wasn't to be for the Nottingham Lions, who lose out 9-4 in Whitley Bay, being outshot 55-42. And it looked to be the Warriors' power play being a big difference. 3 for 5 on the power play on the night of the Warriors. The Lions none for 2. Ross and Weatherall on the score sheet for the Warriors. Ord gets 2, Dean Holland gets 2, and Adam Wood getting the hat-trick. Another impressive goal tally for Alex Rushby, who takes 2. Pardalek and Kidd also on the score sheet. Deeside Dragons hosted the Leeds Knights, and it was another comfortable night's work for the Dragons versus the Knights. Outshooting their visitors 49-32, they took a 9-3 scoreline, with Dineco scoring 2 and Dell for the Leeds Knights, and Simpson, Lovell, Kennedy, Parry, Parsons, Clancy, Ogden, and a brace from Witkowski, the Dragons' goal scorers. Moving on into Sheffield, where the Sheffield Seminars hosted the Blackburn Hawks. An easy night's work for the Blackburn Hawks, who pretty much knew the night before the writing was on the wall where the league title was concerned. However, they do take the victory 7-1, outshooting their hosts 53-23. Cross, Barnes, Riddick all on the score sheet, and it's Luke White with 2 and Sporforth with 2 as well, and Keeling for the Simmers who lose out 7-1 to the Hawks. Moving on into the game of the weekend, and it was the Solihull Barons at the Billingham Stars. A bit of a haunting ground for the Billingham Stars the past couple of years. They've just not been able to get it done for whatever. It's just a hard place for the Stars to go to get their game together to play the way they want to play. It just didn't seem to happen over the last couple of years. And in fact, the last win in Solihull for the Stars was the back end of a 3-game weekend when they played the Solway Sharks in the Morley Cup back in 2023. And I think they took the game 2-0 or 3-1 or something like that. It was a really close game. And that was the last time the Stars won Solihull against the Barons. So with the potential of a league title win on the line, I think everyone expected the Barons to come out firing on all cylinders and pretty much put the Stars under the cosh to say, not a chance are you winning this in our barn. However, it just wasn't meant to be for the Barons, and it was just meant to be for the Billingham Stars. The Stars were actually very, very good in this game. Very workmanlike, very much getting the job done. I don't know if any of you have watched StarCast this past week, but the Stars were very impressive, and it kind of looked that the Barons were a bit more intimidated of the Stars. They kind of backed off the Stars and give them a lot of time and a lot of room to play the game that the Stars wanted to play. The Barons did kind of bring it early. They actually go 1-0 up against the run of play, in my opinion. The Stars had control of the puck. They were down in the Barons zone quite a bit. And from the whole there, I think they dominated the period. I'm actually going to go and find the period shot, so just bear with me. Right there. So there we go. Yeah, that kind of backs up what I was saying. The Barons went into the first intermission 2-1 up, but the Stars were very much the better team and outshooting the Barons 22-16 in that first period. Alex White, who I know can play D as well, and he's been playing as a forward in replacement of Phil Mulcahy, who got that horrendous knee injury. Then Rollins Grittens for the Stars pulls it back to 1-1. Zaki Okayama gets a good goal, top corner, just slightly off the Stars netminder's face mask. He just had a bit too much room to get a shot away. Then on a delayed penalty, Matt Maurice finds Nicholas Otterson in a bit of space, and he puts it away to make it 3-1 in his 35th goal of the season. And you're like, oh, here we go again. 3-1. Oh, well, never mind. It just wasn't meant to be. But this Stars team are different. They are very much made different, built different. And they all back and believe each other. And they didn't skate back to the face-off dot with the shoulders shrugged and down and feeling strong themselves like they have done in the past. It was straight back into the face-off dot, shrugged themselves down, and then within 40 seconds it was 3-2. Another 30 seconds after that it was 3-3. And then 4 or 5 minutes after that, James Moss on the power play puts the Stars 4-3 up at the half-hour mark of the second period. And then again, goals in bunches, which were pretty much what the Stars have known for. A minute later, Tommy Spraggan also on the power play with a slap shot as well. So not something that you always see from Tommy Spraggan. A big slap shot from him, giving the Stars a 5-3 lead and a bit of a cushion going into the third period. Into the third we go then. Stars fans are nervous, completely are. They were totally fine up until this moment, but it kind of just brought it home a little bit that it was very close and only 20 minutes away, and got a 2-goal lead, and 2 goals leads are the worst in hockey, and all that jazz. And then early in the second period, Roland Grittens gets his 31st of the season, and a hat-trick goal in this game to make it 6-3. But just a couple of minutes later, Alex White getting his 23rd goal of the season, the second of the night, making it 6-4. 6-4, not long left in the game. The Stars then take a penalty. I believe it's James Helens gets a hooking penalty. And you think, oh God, here we go. We're given that firepower, all that time and all that room. This will be a 1-goal game, and then we're probably going to be hanging on for the rest of the game. But no, just about 20 seconds, 30 seconds later, Alex White takes an unnecessarily hit to the head penalty. There was no reason to make it. I'm not sure why he done it. He probably doesn't know why himself. I know the call on the night went down as elbowing. It certainly wasn't that. It was just a clean shoulder through the chin. Not that type of play, Alex White. So I don't know whether it was just a rush of blood or wasn't aware of his surroundings or what, but he raises the shoulder up through the chin of a Stars defenseman, getting himself a 5 in a game, and pretty much this for the Stars to see out the remaining of the clock. I'm missing Michael Elder's goal on the 50th minute mark, his 26th of the season, and then the penalties happened, and then Darren Statsfield putting icing on the cake on the 57th minute, making it 8-4, and the Stars get to see out the remaining 3 minutes, counting down the clock to become back-to-back champions of the NIHL North Moray Conference. They dominated the game. They were the better team for 60 minutes. They outshot the Barons 53-45. It says here that the Barons outshot the Stars 18-13 in the third period, which you kind of expect them chasing the game, but it certainly didn't feel like that. The Stars always felt like they were in control. Their puck control and their puck possession were second to none, and just a very confident display from the Stars, and seems to have learned from that hiccup of last year, where they got a couple of injuries and then they started to doubt themselves, and then got hammered in that cup final and kind of just lost their way a little bit and kind of fell over the line in the end as league champions. So that was it for the weekend's games. We will now look at the league tables and see what is what, because we do have a playoff bracket formed now. We kind of know who's going to play who. Nothing confirmed except one fixture. But what we'll do is we will run through the league table as it stands. Like say one or two teams with 4 games left, a couple of teams with 2 games left, and the majority with 3 games left. And then we'll have a look. Then we'll have a look into the updates for top point scorers, etc. from NIHL updates. So at the top now of the table with the C next to their name is the Billingham Stars. Played 33, won 30, lost just 3, scoring a whopping 232 goals, conceding just 79 for their 90 points so far this season. Second place, and confirmed as second place, is the Blackburn Hawks. 34 games played, 27 games won, 1 overtime win, 6 losses, 230 goals scored, 101 conceded for their 83 points. Way back in third is the Solihull Barons. 33 games played, 21 wins, 2 wins in overtime, a loss in overtime, 9 regulation losses, 200 goals scored, 142 conceded, and 68 points. Can the Dragons catch them? Only time will tell, and we'll know more this weekend. The Deeside Dragons, 33 games played, in 4th position, 19 wins, 2 overtime wins, 12 losses, 194 goals scored, and a whopping 176 conceded for the Deeside Dragons in 4th place for 61 points. 5th place is the Hull Jets at 32 games, so they have 2 double headers remaining this season. 15 wins, 1 overtime win, 4 overtime losses, 12 losses, 123 goals scored, 113 conceded, 51 points on the board. 6th place is the Warriors, 32 games played, 16 wins, 1 overtime loss, 15 losses, 143 scored, 135 conceded, and 49 points. 7th place, 7th and confirmed as 7th, cannot catch the Warriors and cannot be caught by 8th place is the Nottingham Lions with 34 games, 13 wins, 1 overtime loss, 20 losses, 148 goals scored, 162 conceded for 41 points. 20 points back in 8th is currently the Leeds Knights, 33 played, 6 wins, 3 overtime losses, 24 regulation losses, 103 scored, 202 conceded for 21 points. 3 points further back is the Widnes Wild on 33 games played, 5 wins, 2 overtime wins, a 26 game loss in the regulation, 106 goals scored, 217 conceded, 19 points on the board. And last but not least, the Sheffield Scimitars, not mathematically quite out of it yet, 33 games played, 3 wins, an overtime win, an overtime loss, 28 regulation losses, just the 69 goals scored, 224 goals conceded for their 12 points. So, who can play who yet? Well, nobody quite knows. All we do know right now is the Blackburn Hawks and Nottingham Lions are in competition with each other for quarterfinals on the March 29th and the 30th. But what if the playoffs started today? Well, if the playoffs started today, we would have the Billingham Stars versus the Leeds Knights, the Blackburn Hawks and the Nottingham Lions, as we know, the Solihull Barons and the Whitley Warriors, and the Deeside Dragons and the Hull Jets, if the playoffs started tomorrow. However, they don't, and we do have some fixtures coming up this weekend. So let's have a look who could be where and how that could affect the playoff picture. The Deeside Dragons will be hosting champion Billingham Stars, whose fans will be travelling to party all weekend. The Whitley Warriors host the Widnes Wild, who hope a big result could help them catch Leeds Knights. The Leeds Knights will be hoping to finally get some luck on their side as they face Hull Jets and hope to keep off the Widnes Wild. Into Sunday, and it's the Sheffield Scimitars hosting the Solihull Barons. The Billingham Stars host the Deeside Dragons in what is a back-to-back series versus them. Hull Jets host the Widnes Wild, and probably the game of the weekend. They don't like each other very much. Something always seems to happen when these two get together. It's the Blackburn Hawks versus the Whitley Warriors. So that is our fixtures and results caught up for the last 2 weeks. So we will move over to NIHL North updates, and we'll just have a little look to see who's doing what points wise. So a big shout out to you, Harley, again. Thank you very much. I might share a beer with you on the bus tomorrow. This time we will start with the net minding. So save percentage leaders for the Morley division. Number 1 spot at the moment is Mark Turnbull of the Billingham Stars at 0.925%. Second place is Jacob Hammond, also of the Billingham Stars, at 0.918%. Third place is a very impressive Zach Brown of the Hull Jets at 0.916%. Fourth is Oliver Thomason of the Blackburn Hawks at 0.913%. And Lucas Sheldon in 5th of the Nottingham Lions at 0.901%. Goals against average. And again, it is the Mark Turnbull at the top for the Billingham Stars at 2.25 goals against. Jacob Hammond of the Billingham Stars again in second, 2.46. Third place is Oliver Thomason of the Blackburn Hawks, 2.50. Zach Brown in 4th for the Hull Jet at 3.22. And 5th place is Ben Keddy of the Blackburn Hawks at 3.22. 0.25. Save leaders then at the netminder with the most saves so far this year is Daniel Norton of the Leeds Knights at 986. Second is Nick Winters of the Sheffield Scimitars at 929. Third place is Hull Jets 818. Fourth place is our friend from the Barons is Graham Laverick at 798. And fifth place is Harry Campbell of the Widnes Wild at 707. Moving on to the points then, and the goals leader still way out in front on his own. Billingham Stars Ian Brown with 61 goals. Second place is Jake Witkowski of the Deeside Dragons on 47. Jacob Lutwich in third with Blackburn Hawks 45. Dan Mulcahy of the Solihull Barons with 41. And fifth place is Adam Barnes with the Blackburn Hawks 39. Assists then is Nicholas Otterson of the Solihull Barons for 69 assists. Second place is Chris Sykes with 62. Third place is Dan Mulcahy of the Solihull Barons 55. Fourth place is Jake Witkowski of the Deeside Dragons 53. And Michael Elder of the Billingham Stars 53. Moving into points leaders then, and we have two players who have broke the 100-point barrier, and both are import. It's Nicholas Otterson of the Solihull Barons with 104. It's Jake Witkowski in second with the Deeside Dragons with 100. Dan Mulcahy is in third for the Barons at 96. Ian Brown is fourth with 91. And Chris Sykes also of Billingham Stars with 89. Penalty leaders then, and it kind of tells you a bit of a story. The leading penalty taker this year has been so far Ross Kennedy of the Deeside Dragon at 114 minutes. Damani James of the Widnes Wild is 102 minutes. Carl Bacon of the Deeside Dragons 95 minutes. Tom Braley of the Hull Jets 92 minutes. And Will Harper with the Deeside Dragons on 80 minutes. So then that pretty much confirms things. I do believe off the top of my head I didn't mention the playoff lineups for the Ladler, so I will quickly go through those now. So basically it's Telford and Sutton Sting who don't yet know who they'll be playing. 7th and 8th position hasn't been confirmed yet. As we know, the Bradford Bulldogs, the Sheffield Titans and the Nottingham Lions are all on 16 points apiece. But we do know it is the Billingham Buccaneers taking on the Kingston Sharks and the Coventry Blaze taking on the Altrincham Aces. Two cracking little series as they will be, and they'll be all four of them will be fighting out for the right to face Telford and Sutton in the semi-finals. And obviously with that, the Buccaneers do have a title to defend. Nothing really else going on so far. No major news to announce as of yet. I know there's mumblings and talkings in the background of a various few things which unfortunately I cannot say right now, but I would certainly be keeping my eyes on social media over the next couple of weeks. But other than that, make sure you've got your playoff tickets ready for the Steel City Showdown. It will be a fantastic weekend. Also, I believe you can order your merch, your Steel City Showdown merch. I believe that is ordered to collect at Steel City Showdown, but I'd need to look into that for you. But other than that, yeah, we're all caught up. It's going to be another fantastic weekend. I'm still not feeling 100%, but I will do my best to get an episode out next week on time. Like I say, there's a lot of big games to cover there, with a lot of permutations of what can go on in the league, for who might play who in the playoffs. Some potential big matchups to come, and I'm sure there'll be one or two talking points coming out of the weekend. So whether you're travelling on the road to watch your team, or you're staying at home to watch your team, or you're on the bus celebrating your team's victory this year in the league, enjoy yourselves, be safe. If you want to get in touch, it is the usual channels. It is Facebook, it is Twitter, or you can also drop an email on sticktothepod@gmail.com. That is all for now. I've got you all updated, and I'll see you all over the weekend. Do come say hi if you're about. If not, I'll speak to you all again next week. Bye for now.